With every rotation of the spacecraft, I could see the Earth, Moon, Sun, and all the twinkling stars. I found the universe to be a grid of millions of stars all emitting a brilliant light. And I was well aware of the notion that the universe is homogeneous. I understood that if everything is homogeneous, that all things are closely related to each other, and are inseparable. It is a new concept that none of we scientists had ever thought of before. During this incredibly peaceful experience, I wondered, who am I really? Where did I come from? Where will I go? How is the universe formed, and how does it relate to the Earth and the people living there? Did we, the first people to travel to space, feel a clear correlation between humans and the universe? Which is different from the conception of people who have never left the Earth. I decided it was time to find a way to replace the preconceptions that have imprisoned so many generations with a new concept of the correlation between humans and the universe. Perhaps the scientific laws and knowledge, which have been built up since time immemorial, will have to change as we look back on everything we have done on this earth after witnessing our diminutiveness compared to the vast universe. Even modern science, which began about 400 years ago with Isaac Newton, would have to change when people stepped out of the influence of the Earth's gravity. Dr. Mitchell continued, after returning to Earth, I have been constantly wondering about this strange sense of inner peace. I searched out and read many scientific books but have found nothing to explain this phenomenon. I turned to Western religious documents but also found nothing. I asked the most learned scholars, but none of them could answer my questions. A friend suggested that I look at writings on Eastern religions, and I started studying Buddhism, especially those books mentioning the unification of mind, samadhi. I found a parallel between the experience I had in space and that of the Eastern philosophers when they described the meditative state. Professor Ye suddenly asked, is that the same feeling you had when you found yourself united with all things? Dr. Mitchell replied, I no longer saw any difference between myself and all things. The feeling of harmony with the universe's movement was an uncanny experience that words cannot express. Professor Ye turned to ask the most venerable Sheng Yen. Most venerable, according to Buddhist conception, is Dr. Mitchell's experience of no longer seeing the distinction between himself and the universe an enlightenment? The most venerable Sheng Yen smiled, and looked at Dr. Mitchell. First of all, I am so glad that Dr. Mitchell had such an extraordinary experience. Out of thousands of people, there are not many who have had such an experience. When one experiences something entirely new in life, which can completely change all personal experiences, we could consider it enlightenment. However, that could also be just a temporary feeling. For example, not long ago, one of my disciples also had an extraordinary experience. After a 7-day meditation retreat, he returned home. On the way home, he saw all the trees, flowers, small insects, and leaves. The grass happily greeted him. He felt great peace and contentment, like he was in harmony with his surroundings, and he believed that he was enlightened. He hurried back to tell me about the experience. I told him that, although it was a wonderful moment of experience, it could also disappear in just a minute. You should not take that feeling to be enlightenment. If you are still in doubt, try going back to that garden to check if the flora, flowers, and fauna welcome you as before. When he returned there, he didn't feel the same experience as last time, so he asked, "How can I get that amazing feeling back?" I replied, "No one can ever own their past experience for all eternity. It is too greedy to hold on to it forever. Having this experience is only the result of spiritual cultivation. It was not the enlightenment that you had expected. The purpose of meditation practice is to develop wisdom and eliminate the ego. If we reach the state of non-ego, will this world, or we, ourselves, still exist?" For most people, this world really does exist, but for enlightened people, it is just an illusion, not real. Therefore, no matter what our experience is, it is just a brief illusion. We should not pay attention to it or desire to hold on to it for our entire lives. Professor Ye further asked, "Most Venerable, if so, no matter what experience we have, we should not cling to it?" The Most Venerable Sheng Yen replied, "No matter how the experience turns out, let it come and go naturally. Perhaps it is just something coming from your mind that will change, because so everything does. Even though it seems to truly exist, just consider it a mental phenomenon."